All right, we're checking the audio. Looks like it's good. A little bit of a runny nose here. I don't know why. Pop his hat on. Hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I am coming back at you with another Wargaming and miniature live stream. And in today's live stream, we are going to be blinding you with light. No, we're going to be painting on these Fallschirmjagers. And I want to talk a little bit about O Group. Just sharing some thoughts that I have. That's all. That's all it is, really. And since I was going to spend this early afternoon painting, I thought why not go live, right? Why not paint while we're or why not stream while I'm painting, because then I can kill two birds with one stone, as it were. So how's everybody doing this morning? It's morning here. It's like 11:20, so almost noon. But I know I have viewers from all around the world, and people jump in at various times during the stream, and then sometimes they jump out, which totally okay. Some people don't say anything; they just watch and they don't chat, and that's perfectly fine as well. Okay, so I started my Fallschirmjager paint palette. I already wrote down the colors that I'm going to be using for each of the different like aspects of the painting, but I haven't put the little paint dot on there just yet. And I basically, as I get to those colors, I'll put a little drop on there to color my little paint palette. Okay. A little bit of news. My British are finished. Right? The British, I'm talking about for the store, that is. I painted those British paratroopers. They're all done. They're up on the store shelf right there. They're all posted and listed, ready for purchase. So if you're interested in some 28mm British paratroopers from Offensive Miniatures, that's the brand, you should go check them out. I think they're on auction. Yeah, I think they're on auction, and they're really marked way down. Speaking of which, apparently I did the American auction, which I still have quite a few of the Americans up there. And I did the Fallschirmjager auction. I did the Americans for 2 weeks, and I did the Fallschirmjagers for 2 weeks. And then I started the British. And as I was entering him in on eBay, right, I got to a point where it started charging me to post any more on the auction, because I think I have a limit of how many free listings because of the level that my store is at, I only have, I think it's 250. I can only list 250 items, or I should say I can only have 250. Okay, let me rephrase that. I can only start 250 auctions, and when an auction goes for a week and then it restarts or resets and goes for a second week, that counts as a whole new auction. So I ran out of the 250 and it started charging me, right? So, which is perfectly fine. I know I have limits. And so what I did was the last cup, and I got through to the last few items, maybe 3 or 4 items. So I went ahead and put them on there as buy it now. And I only want to list an auction for a couple of weeks anyway, and give people a chance to take advantage of the incredibly low prices. And then when after a couple of weeks of just sitting there not moving, I just switched, because I have like almost an unlimited number of buy it nows. My store allows me to do that. So I just converted over to buy it now, and then just let it sit there until it sells. Right. Sometimes I'll go in and convert stuff to auctions just to kind of spark interest. Sometimes I won't. Okay. Now these guys, um, I've already started, and you can see they're all kind of a very light gray green on them. Um, it's not, I didn't use gray green. I used a color called military fatigues or something like that. Combat fatigues. And it was the closest color I could find um, to the base coat for Splinter. It's almost exactly the same. It's perfect, right? But I found a Splinter base coat, a Splinter base on the MiG website. And I ordered it, but MiG comes from Spain, and I don't anticipate getting them anytime soon, right? Uh, maybe 3 weeks. That's soon, but I think I'm going to be going into a new palette soon. That's really what I'm saying here. Okay, so I have Splinter blotches brown. They call it Splinter blotches 2, even though I put it on before the Splinter blotches 1. But no, I did order the base, and while I was there, I ordered a bunch of other paints, um, just to kind of fill up what I was missing. You get the idea. Okay, that's my reading glasses. We got to switch over to my painting glasses. I'm sorry if this secondary light uh, gets in your face or anything like that. I'm doing it so that I can see what I'm doing, right? Okay. That feels shook up. It's all shook up. All right, I said I wanted to talk a little O group. A couple of things. You know that I'm working on my O group boot camp, which is basically a tutorial of the rules. And each boot camp is a couple of chapters. So, like in one chapter, I might talk about movement. Another chapter, I might talk about shooting or artillery or whatever. But I try to put a couple of chapters in on the same video so that it'll be a little bit longer form video and I won't have to make as many videos, because like if there's 20 chapters, I don't want to do 20 videos, even if they're only 30 minutes. I'll do an hour video, but I'll only do 10 of them, right? Okay. That's acting clogged. That should be better. Okay, what was I saying? I already lost my train of thought. Talking about MIG. Yeah, so I should get some new MIG colors in. Now I ordered some unusual like base colors, like blue and red and stuff like that. Just for GP. But they've got this like splinter set, but everything in that splinter set I already have except for the splinter base color, which is kind of like this color. And so I ordered the splinter base and not the splinter set, which I think the splinter set sold out anyway, so I wasn't going to be able to get it. All right, now if you've ever seen me paint, I push everything to the right. Usually, sometimes I go paint this way, but what I like to do, it it's a thing in my head, okay, guys? It's a it's a it's a motivational technique that I'll put all the figures to the right, and then as I complete them or put the color that I'm working with on them, assembly line, I will push them to the left, knowing that that color is done on those guys. Okay, this brush might be too big. Yeah. We're gonna go smaller. Yep, that looks good. Let's try that again. So I'm going about 50% brown on the pattern. So it's going to be a lot of brown. And then I'm going to go about 25% green. Okay, now we're there. So I'm just painting over belt buckles and straps and everything else, because then I'll come back in later, paint those items, because this is all camouflage smock underneath. And I'm trying to paint horizontal, primarily horizontal. There's some vertical, but almost all there. Yeah, it's almost all horizontal hashes. And then I'll come back in and throw a few vertical lines in. And this is meticulous. This is meticulous. It's not hard. It's just, I don't know how many figures I have on my table. And I'm afraid to count them. Because I feel like it'll hit me in the feels, and it'll demotivate me. But I think I want to count them just because I want to know. Um, so I'm building a Fallschirmjäger army for O Group, right? Um, I'm going a little overboard. With the Fallschirmjägers. But that's okay. These are going to be Normandy Fallschirmjägers. Maybe the 6th Regiment. All right. One stick done. Yay. Okay. So I've decided that, oh, wait, back up. Are any of those helmets in need? No. Okay. Sometimes I'll do just the helmets just to make sure that I get all, so I don't overlook them. And it's easier for me to focus when I know that's all I'm doing. But then that means I have to revisit the stick. But that's okay because I revisit the stick like 100 times based on various colors that I'm adding. But, okay, so the start of any O group army is the battalion, right? You make an infantry battalion, and then you get all the assets, the accessories, the support elements, the artillery, the mortars, machine guns, or whatever. And so I started with a Flames of War Fallschirmjäger company box, which has enough figures in it for me to do a battalion. So I'm just doing like little hashes, like straight lines, up, down, left, and right. But my focus is left and right. And I tried using that one brush, but it was just way too thick. All right, so the base is a Flames of War Fallschirmjäger company, and I busted out the company and I went through it and I figured out what figures it came with, officers, NCOs, Panzer Shreks, Panzer Fausts, whatever. And I've decided not to do any helmets. I'm going to do them after I do the smocks. It's going to be go back in and do the helmet secondary. So I'm talking around in circles, so just bear with me. That's the way my mind works. I talk about one subject, and then I think about a second subject, and then I'll start in on that second subject, and then I'll forget what I was talking about. So hopefully, and if there's something I'm talking about that I don't go back to, you can always chat it up. You can always put it in the chat and say, hey, you were talking about this, and then all of a sudden you started talking about some bullshit. No, but so I went through it and I figured out that I could do pretty much an entire battalion plus, right? Now I'm giving myself more work than I need to, right? Because I could make my sections 2 figures instead of 3, right? But I think 3 makes the sections just look like there's more people there. It fills up a small base. The Flames War bases, that is, which I think are excellent bases. I love the Flames War bases. They're a game changer for me. I just love them. I don't want these guys to come out looking like they're wearing tiger stripe, so I got to put some up down stripes to make it look more splintery. All right, so I got my battalion started, and then I said to myself, what else do I need or want? Well, I want some machine gunners, right? That's obvious. I want some medium machine gunners. Can't live without some medium machine gunners. So I ordered the Flames of War medium machine gun, Fallschirmjäger, that is, set. Comes with 4 Fallschirmjäger machine guns. But it came with a bunch of extra crew members. Because in my O group armies, all the support squads are only 2 figures, right? You got like a little light mortar, 2 figures. You got a medium machine gunner, just the gunner and the loader. Got a bazooka team, just the gunner and the loader. So all those like heavy weapons support elements are going to be just 2 figures. So that left me with a bunch of NCOs out of the machine gun team. And then I said, what else do I need? Well, I'd like to have mortars. And I saw that the Fallschirmjäger mortar pack had 120s and 81s, or 80. I think they're actually 81s. And so I said, okay, let's get that. And that came with a bunch of extra crew, NCOs, officers, stuff like that. And then I said, what else do I need? Well, I want some anti-tank guns, which I already have the guns, the Pack 40, Pack 38, Pack 36. I actually already have those. I just don't have any crew for them. And Forged in Battle has this pack of Fallschirmjäger heavy weapons. And those heavy weapons come with way more crew than I need. So I said, oh, I could just get this pack and I could use these crew members for my anti-tank guns. Which I did. I got them in. Came with like 19 crew. And don't forget, a lot of those mortar crew and the machine gun crew I could use on my anti-tank guns as well. And so you can't see me doing any painting, right? Because I'm off camera. Well, that's terrible. All it is just me putting slashes on their uniforms, on their smock. Um, so basically, that gave me 19 crew plus all the extra crew from the guns and stuff. So the anti-tank guns were good to go, plus all the mortars. Now, when I field my battalion mortars, I've only been putting 2 bases on the table. I don't even need to do that, right? Like I said, I'm just giving myself extra work. I could just put 1 base on the table, or I could put no bases on the table. But I think it's good to have them because I might be playing a game like Battle Group or something like that. And then I would need to have those figures on the table. So I'm going to have those. I'm going to have 2 bases, but the pack came with 4 mortars. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and assemble them while I'm at it, while I'm doing these guys. I'm just going to assemble them and paint them and everything. And then cherry pick, take the best 2, and then put the other 2 on my store. Now the 120 mortars, the Flames of War 120s, they're not impressive. I'm going to put them together and I'm going to use but I think the Old Glory 120s are way better looking. But that's okay. And then I looked at these 81 millimeter mortars, and I'm like, these guys look like 60s or, light mortars. They don't look like 80s. What's going on with this? Okay, so I just put that in the back burner. And then I realized that the Fallschirmjäger company, the sprue, well, this is all, I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. So just kind of bear with me. But looking at the sprues, I saw there was flamethrowers. So I said to myself, well, I don't want all these figures to go to waste. So let's go ahead and put together an engineer platoon and give them flamethrowers. Because I had enough figures to do a little extra, right? And I got a pack of Fallschirmjäger with assault rifles, a platoon, because a platoon in Flames War will pretty much make a company in O group because of the scale difference. So I said I could do a company of assault rifles with that platoon pack. But I decided against it. I'm not sure if with all these extra figures that I got, if I have enough to do an extra company. Because by using those engineers, the flamethrowers, they all the figures on the stands can't be flamethrowers. Well, they could be. It'll make it pretty obvious. But I just want to put one flamethrower on a stand and then put submachine guns to flesh them out. And a lot of the artillery crew and stuff like that were submachine guns. So I think I can get submachine guns and flamethrowers to make a platoon. All I need is like 9 figures to make a platoon of engineers. And then I was just breezing through my Normandy book, and I saw that there's a battle, a scenario that has Fallschirmjäger in it. And I was like, how is that? Because they don't have a Fallschirmjäger army list. But in the fine print in the scenario, it says treat them as Panzer Grenadiers. And I was like, okay, I got my Fallschirmjäger rules finally. Right? They're basically just, they look just like infantry. The organization and stuff that this scenario has. And I'll just treat them like Panzer Grenadiers. Wonderful. And then it's got a Poopchin. And I'm like, I have one of those. Came in the Forged in Battle. It came in the Forged in Battle heavy weapons. Whoa, hold on. What's going on with my foot? It looks swollen. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to scoot up just a little bit. Maybe that'll let you see what I'm doing. Probably not, because I'm not zoomed in. This isn't like a painting tutorial or anything. So in that scenario, they've got a Poopchin, and they've got the stats for it. But they don't have stats for the Panzerbusch 75 or 105. I guess it's a 2.8 Panzerbusch, but the LG40 is the 75 and 105, which I have all those guns. It came in the set, but I don't have any stats or rules for it. So I just put those away. And I pulled the Poopchin out so that I'll have it and I'll build it specifically for that scenario or other instances that I might need it. Now the problem is it's labeled as a light gun. So it's not a heavy weapon support. It is still a support element, but it's like an anti-tank gun. Not like a machine gun. So it wouldn't be attached to an infantry platoon. So that tells me I'm going to base it up like I would normally base like a Pack 38. Because a Pack 40 is considered a heavy gun. So I base those on large bases. Where the light guns I base on medium bases. Except for the pack howitzers, I base them on large bases because they're representing fire missions and not figures on the table. But everyone would know that if I had to, if for whatever reason the scenario or whatever required them to be on the table, it'd be all right. We'll figure it out. So the little bitty Poopchin gun, I'm going to be putting on a medium base. And I'm going to give it a full crew of maybe 3 figures. Yeah. The guns I've been giving 3 or 4 figures. You know. Four figures on the larger guns. 3 figures on the smaller guns. So even after making that engineer platoon, I don't know, because I basically grabbed every single figure from that set in this, right? And the Forged in Battle, and the machine guns, and the mortars. Now I'm going to be taking some away for the anti-tank guns and the Poopchen. And I wonder, this is without using that assault rifle pack, I wonder if I'm going to be able to make an additional company. If not, I might be able to make an additional platoon. And that'd be good. Okay, there's no verticals on this guy. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to paint every single figure, and I'm going to try to accommodate an extra company or platoon in addition to the engineers. And if not, if I just get a few extra bases that I make, that'll just get me started towards an extra company. But I don't think I need it. I mean, I don't think I would. I don't need the extra company, is what I'm saying. I was just wanting it. You know what I mean? Okay, well, this is taking a little bit of time to get this brown hashes. I wouldn't have expected it to take any time because I'm not deliberately trying to paint like a grenade or a rifle or a hand or anything. I'm just putting slashes. But I guess because I'm putting so many slashes, it's just taking a while. So my wife is not home today. She took a job for a friend. She's babysitting their dogs because the family went on a vacation and they didn't want to take the dogs. Well, because it was mainly because it was overseas. And yeah. So they're not taking these dogs to Mexico. So she's got kind of like house sitting because she's spending the night / week in their house with their dogs. Okay, so I'm making these O group boot camps, right? If you haven't seen one, you should check it out. I'm working on them. Okay, so they're not finished. I'm uh taking my time. I thought I could knock it out in like 1 week. Just go bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. But no. Um, and then specifically this last video that I'm editing, I started editing it last night. Um, and I figured, I'll edit it, I'll upload it, and everything will be good, right? So I spent like an hour editing this thing. And what I do is I work from the beginning and just advance through it as I need editing. I'll just edit cuts and stuff. Like if I sneeze or something like that. Or if I say I try to edit those out. If there's any pause, a long pause, I'll try to edit those out. So after about an hour of editing, and I must have had like 100 edits. I mean, literally. I'm not joking. I must have had like 100 edits. I was like, man, this is taking forever for me to edit. And what I'm editing is movement and terrain. So I finished with the movement part, and we get into the terrain, and I keep going, and I'm editing. And after about an hour, I said, man, this is a lot of edits. I wonder how much more I've got left. And I was only about halfway through the video. So I was like, oh my goodness, let's just save here, put it off to the side, and I'll get back to it tomorrow, which is today. But yeah, that video has got way too many edits. I don't know if the rendering software will crash. Sometimes it does, to be honest. That's not a joke. I use Vegas Pro to edit my videos. And every year they're trying to sell me the new version. They're trying to tell me why it's better than the previous version. Which I'm sure they made some improvements. But I don't need to spend $200, $300 or whatever it is every year. So they need to just keep sending those ads, because if you don't jump on the $300 version, you give it an extra month or two, they'll drop the price, right? They have sales and specials trying to get my business. I can't afford that. I mean, I'm just going to continue to use my old, I guess it's 2022 version. That's when I upgraded last, I think. And I've seen the price drop to as low as $19. And I'm like, damn. A $200 program that you're selling for $19. That's something I could probably jump in on. But I don't. I'm holding out. And then it goes back up $30, $50. You know, they say, oh, you can get it at half price, $150. I'm like, no. Sounds like a great deal, but if you're buying something you don't need, even if it's half price, you're still buying something you don't need. Okay, I'm hearing hammering, so my neighbor is probably working over there doing something. I don't know if you can hear it. So we had a plumber come in a couple of days ago and fix our bathroom sink. Nothing wrong with the sink itself. Well, let me rephrase that. All he had to do was remove the aerator on the nozzle of the sink, and then the water ran a lot better, right? Because we were getting like a slow drip. I crawled underneath the sink because we were going to replace our sink. I didn't know about this. I'm not a plumber. But I could have just taken my pliers and unscrewed the aerator to test if that was the problem. Well, that was only part of the problem. But before he got here, I was under the sink trying to figure out if maybe the water pressure was turned down or off or leaking or anything like that. And everything seemed to be okay, except for the hot water side. the the valve was super hard to move. I was having having man problems. So I finally got it to open all the way up, but the water pressure didn't change. See, I could have checked the aerator, and that might have helped. But after about 30 minutes of me messing around down there, trying to figure out what was wrong with it, the water pressure just stopped. There was no pressure. So I told my wife, I said, this is above my pay grade. I don't know what's going on. So we have this service agreement with Heller, right? Because we bought a water purifier from them. Or filter, I guess. It filters all of our water in the house, and that cost a fortune. And so we have this service agreement with them. Now so that gives us a discount when we ever need them for air conditioning or plumbing. So she calls them. They come over right away. You send a nice gentleman. He identifies the problem, which was our hot water valve was broken. And so he had to replace that. And the sink faucet was old and falling apart. So he was going to sell us one off the truck for like $150. And my wife said, no, 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 no. I'm going down to local hardware. I'll buy one. I'll be right back. So she runs down to this place called Roleplaying we've got here in Clarksville. Buys the only faucet they have left. It was the last one, I think, she said. For like $30. Like, here we go. Use this one. So we saved like $120 by going and buying our own faucet. Oh yeah, and the feed lines. The plumber, which I don't know if he's being honest with us, but he said, don't use the same feed lines when you replace your sink. If you're going to unscrew your feed lines, the gasket will have been damaged and it might leak. So you should always replace the feed lines whenever you replace the sink. And I was like, okay. So we bought our own feed lines as well. We weren't going to buy them off the truck because they're overpriced on the truck. And he got it installed. A couple hours later, he was done. He was out. He was gone. So, FYI, I'm planning on ordering a pizza real soon, probably. Um, from Pizza Hut. I don't normally order pizzas from Pizza Hut, but I'm willing to give it a chance because they have this thing called a personal pizza, which I'm going to kind of guess it's probably like a 6-inch pizza. It's probably small. But I got this ad. Is that? Screw it. I'm going to make it splinter. Yep. I got this ad that said they've got this new box, personal box or something like this. And I was like, what's that? That sounds interesting. So I clicked on it and what it is, so I see you got a bundle there.
Yeah.
So what it is a here we go. Is a it's like a personal pizza, but it's got two sides. The second half of the box has chicken. Like 4 pieces, nothing too huge. But it seems like it's a perfect meal. It's like you get a very small pizza, which is probably like 2 or 3 slices. Man, my nose is running like crazy. So how was work today?
Pretty slow today, really.
Really?
Kind of always like that on Sunday mornings, though.
Oh. He works over at Sonic. It's been there a while now. Okay, this pose that I'm painting right now doesn't lend to vertical. I'm sorry, vertical. I was like, what's the difference? Horizontal, vertical. Yeah, I'm trying to put the focus on horizontal lines with an occasional vertical line to make it look like it's not tiger stripes. And I'll show you an example of what I'm basing all this on right after this stick. Because I think I need to add a little bit more paint to my palette here. It's starting to dry up. So I've got this Squadron publication called Fallschirmjagers in Action. Right? They've got a bunch of these books, and I bought this a long time ago, pre-internet. Right? As a paint, what do you call it? Like a painting guide. But it's also a history book. It also talks about the uniforms, talks about the generals and the battles that they were in, and the weapon systems they have and they use, in addition to providing some color plates. Okay, which here, let me show you before I refill that. There's the 50 millimeter. There's a 37 millimeter with the steel granite in the front. That's the Poopchin. That's the 120 mortars. And then there's the 80 mortars. Pack 40s. And then another 37 millimeter with steel granite. Because apparently you get 2 shots with a steel granite. Included when you get the armor vehicle, when you get the anti-tank gun. Okay, I had to move those because they were sitting on top of the book. But this is the book, right? Fallschirmjäger in Action. And just looking at the back cover, I'm painting these guys. This is what I'm painting. These guys look like Crete or whatever. little deserty. And then there's, I don't know what happened here. I don't know if that's blood or if that's brown paint or whatever. But they have these plates in the middle as well. And you can see 1940 to 1942. And then you've got 42 to 43, right? And that looks like Splinter as well. But that's primarily a green Splinter. But if you look at these patterns here, the majority of the lines are horizontal, right? That one's a lot darker than that one. But there's green in there as well, but it's almost all it's hard to explain what I'm trying to do. But going through this book, that's a really good render of the Splinter cam. What I'm trying to do is like a variation of the Splinter. And let me go ahead and put these guys away. So these are the 120s, right? And this is the 80s. And that looks, they look super thick, right? Like they would be 80 millimeter, but they're super short. And the Flames of War mortar package calls them Stummel mortars, right? I was like, Stummel mortar? What the hell is that? I don't know what that is. And then I just kind of wrote it off. But then when I was going through my book, The Fallschirmjäger in Action, it shows a lot of photos. There's a lot of photos from all over the period. Actually with them actually fighting, manning anti-tank guns, carrying equipment, all that stuff, right? Well, they show this team, well, twice. They show this team firing a mortar, and it's super short. Like, it's only a foot and a half off the ground or something. It's like a really short mortar. And it's an 8 centimeter. Now, Fallschirmjäger in Action give it a different name. They call it like a Stressel mortar or something like that. I don't know if I'm right, but they just call it a different type of mortar. And then in parentheses, it says short. And I'm like, okay. So the Fallschirmjägers have a different 81 millimeter mortar, or medium mortar, 80 mortar, than the regular Army. And I was like, okay. It's like having a 60, but with the firepower of an 80. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Also in that book, it talks about boots and how, they're black or brown. And then it talks about the uniform in general. And it shows this group of guys firing an MG42, but they're wearing P. Dot camouflage. And he mentions there were two SS Fallschirmjäger. I don't know if he said divisions or battalions, regiments, whatever. But there were some SS Fallschirmjäger, and they would have been equipped with, SS uniforms. So those guys should have been SS. But the caption from the photograph, from the newspaper, or wherever it came from, said that they were from another regiment, not the SS. And only two of them out of the three had the SS P. Dot, right? And then he references a sailor there was a Navy sailor that was wearing a splinter jacket, a field gray pants, and a P. Dot soft cap. And he says by the 1944-45 period, the Germans would be wearing whatever they could get their hands on. So I considered painting one of these companies. I really did. I considered painting one of these companies with P. Dot. Making them like SS Fallschirmjäger. But it would just make it easier on the table to identify what company they were in. But I said, nope. I want my battalion to look uniform. So I put an order in for some more 3D printed armor vehicles. Now, I'm going to freak out in a positive way if I get what I asked for. Because this guy, 3D Armor Warfare, as I think what he's called, he does modern as well as World War II. I think he's got some World War I stuff too, and on his page He's actually got like buildings and roads and stuff like that. But he sells these bundles where you can get like 3 or 5 or 10 tanks. And he's got this list of like a couple of hundred different tanks. And so when you place an order on eBay with one of those bundles, he asks that you send him, through comments or whatever, personal message, which tanks you want, right? Like which ones do you want included in that bundle? So I go through this list and I try to figure out, what holes do I need to fill? Because you can get just one tank, or one this or one that. And I noticed that included in this list was Waco gliders. And I'm thinking to myself, a Waco glider would be a pretty big model, right? It's going to be kind of ginormous. It'd be good for specific scenarios, and I can use it as a Horsa. It's a glider. So I could use it for Pegasus Bridge or something if I wanted. It'd be a proxy. But my question is, it's supposed to be 15 millimeter in scale, but I wonder if it actually is. I think it's probably going to be 144 or maybe even smaller. We'll see when it comes in. He said that he'll start on Monday and it should go out on Wednesday. But no, I ordered a couple of those, as well as some French APCs. And some odds and ends, like an M20 armored car, a Luke, some Stugs, some Panzer IVs. We'll see. Oh yeah, some more half tracks. M5s, I think. Because I've got some M5 A1s, which are kind of like APCs. But I wanted some half track for tow vehicles. He doesn't have everything. That's okay. Like, I don't see any M8s. He's got the M20, but no M8s. Now, I had already ordered those French half tracks, but apparently, my mistake, I ordered the wrong model, and that legitimately was my mistake. I ordered like an anti-tank version of it, which I did need, but I only needed like one or two. And I had ordered 6. Because I was planning on doing the 21st Panzer Grenadiers as well. Now, what's cool about that is I don't have to repaint my Panzer Grenadiers, or I should say my Grenadiers. I can just call them the 21st. And something in my mind is telling me that the 21st had SS uniforms, but I could be wrong. I'll have to do a little research. I still have an SS battalion that I gotta finish painting. I'm in no rush, right? I was planning on doing my regular American infantry next, but I kept looking at the Fallschirmjagers, and I just couldn't resist. I just had to do them. Yeah, I don't remember on my O group uh, project update videos. I don't remember what the last unit I showed off was. Because I just finished the British. I think. I think it was the British I just finished. So my 28 millimeter offensive miniature British, I definitely just finished. Okay, two of those figures, no, three, one, two, two of those figures. Really? No, wait. One, two, no, three of those. Yeah, three of those figures are from the Grenadier set. Um, and the only reason why is because I wanted to have a radio man for my FO. And a couple of those figures were senior officers with trench coats and soft caps. And I looked at them and I was like, these guys could easily be Fallschirmjagers senior officers. So I'm going to use them as like battalion or company commanders. That's another thing. I'm not going to touch it until I get these guys all painted. But there is for the battalion headquarters piece, I have some Beretta scenic bases. And I need to pull one. And they're all different. So I need to kind of decide which one I want to use for my Fallschirmjagers. And I wonder if the Stummel mortar is more of a heavy weapon company kind of thing, or is it battalion mortars? Because if it's a heavy weapon thing, then you would put them on the table. Yeah, I'm like really surprised this brown is taking as long as it is. Bless you. Now, I originally painted these guys with field gray for their trousers. And I felt that wasn't Fallschirmjagers enough. So I went back over them with Luftwaffe uniform. And I felt that wasn't Fallschirmjagers enough. So I went back over them with field blue. And I'm happy with them. And I went in and changed my palette for field blue. Yeah, the Fallschirmjäger uniform color just isn't blue enough. It might just be old, but it's more gray, which it is supposed to be gray, but it's supposed to have an obvious blue hue to it. It should be very clearly not field gray. Field gray should have a little bit of green in it. Now I was noticing that the Flames of War Fallschirmjager models do not have gas mask canisters. None of them. Now, was that a thing where the Fallschirmjäger didn't use those? Because if that's the case, then that's a cool little piece of history that I didn't realize. I thought all the Germans had gas mask canisters. Now, there's a couple of figures. A couple. I don't remember if they were gun crews from Forged in Battle or who they were. But they had the gas mask canister. But it's only like 2 out of all of these models. Okay, these prone guys. Okay. Pretty much only doing their back. So I'm watching some YouTubers talk about the Ukraine war, right? And how they support Ukraine or what's going on, situations. You know, they list like casualty numbers and tank losses, and some of them have like map references where they show like what towns have been lost and stuff like that. Okay. Well, there's this one YouTuber. He stutters. It happens, you know. People have conditions. He probably has a condition. No problem. But I'm just saying, he's a little hard to watch. But I can get through it, right? No problem. Because he's got a lot of good information about the Ukraine conflict. And he puts a video out twice a day. And they're two different videos. One talks about the physical, what is happening on the ground kind of thing. And then the second video, he talks about the politics of it all. You know, like why this country is not wanting to support them, or this leader supports them, or things like that, right? So it's kind of like a two-sided coin. And I'm like, a lot of it is like really good insight, but none of it is his own. Okay, I'm going all around this figure. Because all he does on his video saves me the time of having to go find all these articles, but all he does is read other people's blogs or Twitter posts or comments. So he's not doing any evaluation of his own, which is perfectly fine. He does throw in his opinion every now and then. You know, like, this is what this guy said, but I disagree with it. You know, or this is what this guy said. He's really smart about it, and he made me think. You know, that kind of stuff. So he's giving commentary on what other people say about the conflict. If you don't know who I'm talking about, I think it's ATP Geopolitics. I don't know if that's his name, but the reason why I bring it up, I think he's English. Okay, I don't know if he is or not. I think he's from Britain. And that's perfectly fine. I love the British. He said he this is like the third or fourth time. I don't know. I watch him a lot. And not twice a day. Maybe I do watch him twice a day. Maybe I watch both of his videos. I don't know. But I watch for the information, not for his commentary. But over the last few days, he's made me mad. Mainly because he's talking about something he doesn't know anything about. Trump. Okay. So, as I've already mentioned, he doesn't have a mind of his own. He only repeats what he's read. And that is exactly what he's doing with Trump. He's heard that he's against the war. which is definitely true. I think most Americans are against any war. But he interprets that as he's in favor of Putin, which is not the case. Trump doesn't love Putin. Trump's not going to give Putin Ukraine. He doesn't have the authority to do that anyway. Even if he wanted to. But I can forgive him for that. I can forgive him for all of it, actually. Because he doesn't know. He's a foreigner. He's watching news, propaganda. He's absorbing it as if it was true. And then he's turning around and sharing it with his audience. And as you know, you probably all know, Trump was just convicted of 34 felonies. And if you were following, or if you are following this court case, you know that it's all fake. Because he did something 2014, 2015, which has a 2-year statute of limitations. But even if it didn't have a statute of limitations, like murder or something, it was still only classified as a misdemeanor. And apparently the crime was, he wrote something down in his books, which actually he didn't do it. His accountant did it. But ultimately, it's your books, so you're responsible. I get that. But apparently, his accountant paid a lawyer to adjudicate or to process some legal documents for an NDA. Right? Okay, so far so good. And she labeled it Legal expenses. That's what it was. It was a legal expense. A lawyer charged Trump an amount of money to write up and deliver an NDA and then paid the person signing the NDA for their cooperation. In the United States, this is not a crime. This is a daily activity. This happens everywhere you go. You get paid to sign an NDA. You don't have to sign the NDA. You could say, nope, I'll talk about it whenever I want. But if you want the money, you sign the NDA and okay, you get the idea. And apparently, putting that information in his books as a legal expense was inaccurate. Oh, hold on. Too much water. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. My point is, this guy at ATP Politics doesn't know what's going on with this trial, and he just says he's a criminal. I don't know where I was going with this. I just had to get it off my chest. Because this guy doesn't know the details of the trial or the crookedness because remember these misdemeanors got elevated to felonies because there was an underlying crime that would elevate these crimes to felonies. But nobody knows what that underlying crime is. Not even the defense. Because the judge didn't want to tell anybody. Which, in my opinion, that's grounds for an appeal. that whole trial was conducted by a judge who was making money for having the trial. His daughter had made millions because of this trial. He had originally donated, the judge that is, money to Biden which I don't have any problem with judges donating money politically, even though it's actually against the rules. I personally don't have any problem with that. The problem I have is you can't oversee a trial, or you shouldn't be allowed to oversee a trial of someone that opposes whoever you gave a donation to. It could be Billy Bob. It could be Dick Wad or whatever. It doesn't matter. And because he donated to Biden, who's in opposition to Trump, he should not have been allowed to oversee this trial. And his daughter is making money off of this trial. That sounds like a conflict of interest. There's just a lot of things wrong with this trial that just doesn't sit right with me. I'm not an expert, but it just, something doesn't smell right in Denmark. Okay. Take a short break from painting these guys. Order me one of those pizza boxes. It says 25 to 30 minutes for delivery. That's what I heard. I guess we'll see here in just a second. This would be Pizza the Hut. Yeah, I don't know. It's not loading. What's going on? Enter. Get rid of all that extra BS. Oh wait, it loaded. Half melt and side. Half melt side and a drink. Full melt. No, I want a pizza. I want one of those little. Okay, 2-topping personal pan pizza. Build your pizza. Choose your toppings. Optional. See all meats. Actually, okay, meatballs are sold out apparently. Is there a sign in? I'm not a robot. Sign in for faster checkout. Okay, we're back. Build your pizza. Choose your toppings. Now, I don't think I want pepperoni. It only shows 4 pepperoni on there. Meatballs sold out, which I didn't want anyway. Grilled chicken. Beef. Is beef an option? Okay, beef is an option. Veggies. Beef and jalapenos? Beef and onions. Pineapple. I'm making something crazy. Okay, sauce. I don't want the classic marinara sauce. I saw this on here earlier. I want the barbecue. It's going to give it a shot. Cheese, regular. Special instructions. Back door. Add to deal. I don't know, is that a thing? Okay, second half. Fries or wings? Oh, I don't think delivered fries would be good. I can go buffalo or I can go honey barbecue. I'm going honey barbecue. Add to deal. Add to order. Go to wait. Why is it so high? $6.99. $10 to 20 minutes. Okay, that's fast. Okay. I wonder if there's a delivery charge. View order. That's what we're going to do. It doesn't say. I'm going to go to checkout and see if it says. Oh, there it is. You have not met the delivery minimum. The minimum delivery is $12. Back to cart. Okay. So taxes and fees. Oh, delivery fee $5. Okay. Okay, which I'm okay with that. If I order more, then let's go back to the menu. I'm looking at the deals. The Big New Yorker. What's that? Deal Lovers menu. I'm experimenting, guys. I don't normally order from Pizza Hut, but I thought I'd give them a chance. Medium one topping. A melt. A melt looks like a pizza that was folded in half. Like a whatever. 8-piece boneless wings. Oh, and there's a lot of different flavors on this one. There's burning hot, mild, medium, honey, lemon pepper dry rub. Cajun style dry rub. No, I don't want that. Or a sweet chili. That sounds disgusting. Buffalo mild. I don't mind hot wings. I'm going to go medium, just like the advertisement said. Okay. Please add another Deal Lovers menu item to meet the 2-item deal minimum. What? What are they talking about? Okay, let's start over. Let's go to the cart. Let's remove this original pizza and barbecue. Let's remove it. No, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, wait, no. No, 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 no. Dang it. Oh, it had an edit. Dang it. Oh, man, I'm messing up. Hmm. Yeah, I didn't get into the sauce. There we go. Forcing it. I'm not going to do it. I've decided against it. It just didn't come out the way I was wanting it to. Yeah, because Domino's, which let me go ahead and sign in while I'm here. It's got a point system where the more pizzas you order, the more points you get, which I've got a ton of points. And it's got, get it, two item medium pizza for $6.99. So that's just way better. So I'm going to do the choose any two pizzas. I'm going to see if I can't build my pizza a little bit different this time. They've got a New York style. That's new. I don't know what that is. New York style. Hard. No, I'm sorry. I can't read. Hand stretched thin and cut into 6 big foldable slices, offering a perfect balance of sauce, cheese, and crust in every bite. Handmade pan. Yeah, pan pizzas are just super awesome, but they charge extra for that. Just hand tossed pizzas like your normal dealio. Cheese, normal. Oh, they got barbecue sauce as well. See, if I knew that, oh man, I'm jumping on that. Let's go with some beef. I didn't want pepperoni this time. And they've got more non-meats that I could add. onions. I don't know what it is. I want some beef and onions. Add to order. Like cheese? No thanks. I mean, I love cheese, but... Second item. I think I'm going to do the chicken. I'm basically building the same order. Hot buffalo wings. Boneless chicken. Habanero. I don't think I want that. I want boneless anyway. Sweet bacon barbecue hot buffalo. Back. Chicken. I'm going to go with jalapeno pineapple. That actually sounds pretty good. Or should I get a second pizza? Yeah. Loaded tots. Tater tots with just stuff sprinkled on top of it. Okay. Nope, we're going to start from scratch again. And tossed. Regular sauce. Alfredo, that's okay. Philly steak. I didn't see that on here just a second ago. Now, I could use my points to redeem something. What can I get with sandwiches, desserts, pasta, medium two-topping? No. Wait, member only offer. I don't get this. Win 50% off all pizzas when you place 2 orders by 6/9. This is order 1. I'm not redeeming my points. Yeah, that's already way cheaper. No. Trying to sell me something. Add garlic. No. You got the best price possible. Great. I saved quite a bit. Okay, great. Delivery. Now, continue to checkout. Delivery. Continue. Is all this information correct? Back door.